What's up everybody, it's Tim, and in this video I wanted to focus more on some large caps that I see some deals in. Now if you haven't watched my previous video, I go into some high risk, high reward smaller caps, so I'll leave you guys a link at the end screen or down below in the description. And also don't forget to check out the links below for some free crypto and stocks and BlockFi's crypto card. Now if you don't mind hitting the like and subscribe, I definitely appreciate it, and I do put out daily videos. So let's first start off with AMD, and in a bit here I'm going to mention a crypto that's one of my highest conviction plays and is currently at a critical level. So starting off with AMD, we are in this downward channel here still. Tried to break out of it, had a false breakout, and now we're trying to hold this roughly 94.50 support area. So watch out for this one. If we do break to the downside, we're going to create some newer lows and likely test $90. Long term, I see AMD as a great play and a great time to add and accumulate. But short term, you could definitely play some options and make some money likely on some puts if we do break to the downside. And inversely, if we start pushing 100 and break up from 100, you could play that on a call and just scalp it on a day trade. But looking at the MACD, looks like it's curling and the RSI is still oversold. So we may try to develop a support here at 94.50, but just keep an eye on it, see which direction it takes. Next up is PayPal, and we kind of have a similar story here. We are retesting this $102 area. So if we break from this, we're going to likely see some new lower levels. This has hit a base of really close to $90 before just coming right back up, pushing 120, and now we're back in the middle of that just about, hovering right around $100. I think long term, PayPal is a great time to add in on this price. But if you want to play it on a day trade, look for us to break that $100 level. And if this starts finding support at 102 and starts pushing its way up, look for 105 as a good breakout. I definitely like PayPal for the long term, and I think now is a fantastic time to add while it's so pushed down. And they do have a deal with Amazon with Venmo in late 2022, so look out for that. I think that is a huge catalyst that is going to push PayPal up in the near future. Next is Facebook, or Meta Platforms, or FB stock. And this one is currently in a downward channel, and throughout April it has been hitting lower lows and lower highs. Now it seems to be finding some support here at about 210, and I would say personally if we can break 207, that's where I would go in with the short for a short-term day trade. But it does kind of depend on where things set up moving forwards from where we're at now. However, just looking at previous history, right at about 207, there really isn't another support or a resistance until about 200. So that could be a nice little trade. We have hit a base of about 185. I doubt that Facebook is going to see the 180s again personally, but it's definitely likely we can come down under 200. I'm personally just watching this one and seeing which direction it wants to go. If it wants to break out of this downward channel, if it wants to push down a little farther, I would potentially start buying this right at that $200 level. Facebook has definitely had a very rough time, and last earnings they just gave not the best future guidance, and their growth has slowed a bit. Plus the lingering high expenses that bringing on the metaverse will bring Facebook. So a lot of investors are very pessimistic about it currently. I think it's in a decent zone to slowly accumulate personally. Next up is going to be Amazon. I haven't really talked about this one much. Never really had any Amazon. But I personally see it as a good time to start potentially adding. Although, be aware that their earnings is coming up, so you might want to just watch out for that. Wait until after earnings, or just slowly average through. This one, as you can see, has been trading relatively sideways since about 2020, July 2020. So very close to 2 years. We hit a low point, just like with most stocks, in mid-March, and this one hit about 2,700. We tried pushing back up, came up to 3,400, and now we're hovering right at 3,000. I think personally that Amazon would be a great one to potentially add to. Although coming up into earnings, I would expect possibly a little bit of pessimism and a little bit of fear and uncertainty. So look out for this to break 3,000 and potentially buy it under 3,000. And don't forget that Amazon is going to be having a stock split, which is very bullish. And they are also planning a $10 billion share buyback soon. Now I think these are definitely some large cap stocks to look into, and let's get into some crypto. We're going to look at Bitcoin's chart, and we're also going to look at VGX. And if you're curious where to buy VGX, check out the link down below for Voyager. Put in $100 and you get a $35 reward using my link. Right now on VGX, we're hovering right around 145. And going back on the chart a ways, you'll see that 2 times this was a previous support level. We did break out of it one time. We reached that infamous $1.30 price. That was very short-lived. So I'm really looking to see how this support holds up. But looking at the RSI, we are neutral. Looking at the MACD, it does look like it's ready to curl. However, looking at the chart, we are still bearish, and we are still in a relatively clear downtrend. So I do want to see a little bit more sideways action to indicate some strength in VGX. But that's more from a short-term perspective. From a long-term perspective, I see it as a great time to just average through. I'm definitely very bullish on VGX. I believe in their executive team. I believe in the company. And the app is actually seeing more and more user growth, so that's great. And I think expansion to Europe will give VGX some great buying pressure. However, it is definitely possible that we test this $30 level again. And of course, this does depend on where crypto goes in general and mostly Bitcoin. Now, zooming out a bit, you will see that since late January, we have been in an uptrend. I would love to see Bitcoin pull back over 40,000 and show some strength there. But if we in fact keep pulling back, it's very likely that we test this 38,000 area. And this is a relatively important area for it to hold. It is this range right here, this chop around area. If we pull back from that, very possible we come down towards 35. And another negative thing is if we do pull back from that 38, we would be likely breaking this upward trend as well. We may break from this upward trend line if we do break from 38, pushing it even farther down. We may test the low 39s according to how the RSI is looking. Bitcoin has definitely been struggling the last few days. So if you do have VGX, definitely keep an eye on Bitcoin as well. And that's it for the video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.